What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and today we're going to be spending a real day in the life with the iPhone XR. And for those of you who have never seen one of my real day in the life videos, you're pretty much going to be spending a day with me and the iPhone XR as we test out things like performance, the single camera, the new body, and we're going to see how it does in the real world. But let's take a look at how it did. Okay guys, so now we're starting our real day in the life. It is 10:42 a.m. and just looking at the viewfinder here or my screen, it looks like the quality is really good. So this is the front-facing camera quality that you could come to expect, as well as the audio quality. And it looks pretty solid here, but we'll wait till we actually get it on a computer to make any real judgments. But we do have a couple of things to do today. We got some videos to shoot. I got a lot of videos to shoot because next week, headed to Japan, baby. So I got a lot of stuff to do before we go. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is kind of talk about the body of the iPhone XR. Now, this is slightly bigger than the iPhone XS and, you know, the iPhone X. This is a 6.1-inch display. And speaking of the display, guys, this thing has, you know, some of these borders over here. People will complain about it. It kind of sucks that it's there. But I will say, after using it for a while, you kind of get used to it. And this is coming from someone who's been using the 10 and now the XS Max. So borders aren't that bad, but some people will probably dislike them. I know Ari does. She hates the borders. And yes, guys, we are back in the kitchen, and I know certain parts of it still aren't done. It's been a long time, I know this, but we'll get to it. I'm actually curious about what you guys think about doing an empty house tour. We shot one. Jay, how long ago did we shoot one? Like a few months ago? Like 2-3 months ago, guys. A couple things have changed since we shot that video, but let me know if you guys want to see it. We're building the ultimate smart home, and I want to know what you guys think. If you guys want to see it before and the after. So let me know with a comment down below. I'm really curious about that. But back to this iPhone, guys. People complain about the resolution on this guy, but it's really not that bad. Honestly, just taking a look at it from here, I can't tell the difference between this and the iPhone XS or XS Max in terms of resolution and it being clear. This thing is super clear, it looks just fine, but it is a lower resolution. But when it comes to just straight up navigating the phone, that's not gonna be an issue, I promise. And no, Apple's not sponsoring this video so that I can say something nice about it. It's just the truth. And honestly, guys, just watching one of my own videos, it still looks like a really high quality video. Even though this thing has a lower resolution, it still looks just fine. It doesn't look like I'm watching a low res video because of the lower resolution. I'm not just saying that, making excuses for this or trying to give it a pass. This is what my channel is all about. Your average consumer. Us tech nerds, we can go ahead and say, oh, lower resolution, boom, it sucks. But for the everyday person looking at this thing, they're gonna just say, oh, wow, that looks really good. Without any idea about the numbers, they're just gonna see what they see with their eyes. And I'm telling you, you're gonna look at this and say, wow, it looks good. Something you don't hear people talk about a lot when watching content with the XR is that it has those improved speakers that the XS and XS Max have. But because this one has a bigger body than the XS, it actually has a better sound output than it does too. So check this out, guys. But yeah, guys, this thing has improved speakers. It sounds really good. In terms of content consumption, this thing is right up there with a ton of other flagships out there right now. All right, guys, had to stop everything I was doing, head over to the barber, get a cut. Got a wedding to go to this weekend. You heard me, I gotta go to Japan too, so had to make sure I was fresh and not bad. Okay, guys, so we haven't been doing too many battery updates because honestly, it's just an iPhone. There's not gonna be that much difference in terms of the overall everyday experience, but there are a couple of things that have changed with the XR, especially because of that screen. So this is an LCD display. That's kind of why we have these thick bezels here on the sides. That's actually where the backlight is coming from so that the display can be nice and bright. But it's a bit of a different display because now, because of those backlights, we don't have the ability to have Force Touch, or is it 3D Touch? I think it's 3D Touch now, they changed it. So now we don't have 3D Touch, which means you can't long press or press in on an icon and have something come up. So the only place where you get something that's similar to it, which is called haptic touch, is on the lock screen. So now you can hold and then have something like the flashlight turn on and then hold it and then it goes away. So that's kind of where haptic touch comes in. You no longer have 3D touch. It also works in the control center. So if you wanted to go ahead and do that, you can. Same goes with this. So those are the only places where you can really take advantage of haptic touch. My favorite thing to do with Google Maps is to go ahead and 3D touch it, and then I have access to my favorite places. But now you don't have access to that anymore, which is a bit unfortunate. So I have to go jump into the app, type in where I'm going. That kind of sucks. All right, guys, right now we are on our way to the post office. We're almost there, just about 2 minutes away. Have the GPS going. It's not that long of a ride, so I don't think it's gonna hit the battery that hard. So we lost like 1% since using the GPS to get here. So right now we're at 32% and it's 5:39, and it's pretty much winding down, but we got a good bit of battery left. And in terms of screen on time, guys, 4 hours and 41 minutes. This thing is a battery champ. All right, guys, so we are back in the studio. I was actually editing a video, but gotta take a quick break from that. I wanted to post something on Instagram, and this is where the camera comes in. I gotta say, guys, it's a little disappointing. My favorite way to take a picture is with portrait mode. I love portrait mode, but with the 10R, you can't really use the portrait mode effect unless you're taking a picture of someone. So inanimate objects, pets, those are no longer options. If I wanted to take a picture of this Xbox One Elite controller here, it's saying no person detected. So it is not gonna give me that effect. That's the one drawback. Now, I know I'm sure most people don't really care about portrait mode, but for me, it matters. But one thing I know, most people will probably use portrait mode with other people, so it will still work with that, but just nothing like this. This ain't gonna do it. You see, it says at the top, no person detected. But if I were to pull out my 10S Max, I can go into portrait mode and bam. I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but it's got that blur effect going on in the background right now. But there is something cool about portrait mode, even with the 10R. Take a look at this, guys. So when you're in regular photo mode and you swipe over the portrait, the 10S Max or the 10S or regular 10, they use the telephoto lens in order to get the photo. But with the 10R, you can see it uses the single lens that it has in the back. Now, the reason why I think that is really cool is because when you're taking a picture or portrait mode with one of these phones, you gotta like step back, move back, and then take the picture. But with this, you pull it out, you don't even have to move back or anything. You just take a picture of your subject. I think that is really, really cool. And one of the benefits of having a single lens. But I still wanna get my Instagram picture, so I am going over to the 10S Max to get it. Gotta show the people this beautiful controller. And bam. Oh, that is so clean, guys. And if I were to try to take it with the 10R, I still probably get a clean photo. Not portrait mode, but let's see. Definitely still a clean photo. It's the same lens as with the iPhone XS and XS Max. It's just missing out on the telephoto. And that pretty much wrapped up our day, guys. Now, I did use the phone till the battery was completely depleted. And I gotta say, guys, the battery life, wow. Amazing stuff. This thing almost got 7 hours of battery life, something that I've never been able to do on another smartphone before. I've seen some phones hit 6 hours, which I think is absolutely amazing. And this thing got almost 7 hours of screen on time, which is something I've never seen on a smartphone before. So the 10R absolutely has the best battery life I've seen on any iPhone, period. So I think a lot of people are gonna be happy with being able to have a phone that lasts almost all day. And I did a lot of gaming, guys, so I'm sure this thing can go even further. If you're trying to decide between the 10R and the 10S, honestly, guys, they're pretty much the same phone with some slight differences. One, of course, being the frame around the body. With the 10R, you have that aluminum. With the 10S and 10S Max, you have that stainless steel. And while some people may think of that as a downgrade, I think for everyday people, they're actually going to appreciate not seeing as many scratches with the 10R's aluminum body as you would see with the stainless steel. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, while that stainless steel looks nice, it does get a lot of fine scratches. Now let's just cut to the chase, guys. Is the iPhone XR worth it? Absolutely. While some people will complain about the lower resolution, the borders, yes, the phone has its flaws in comparison to something like the XS and XS Max, but as a standalone phone, it is a really, really good phone. It's just as powerful as its more expensive counterparts. While there may be some trade-offs with the 10R, I think if you're a regular everyday person who just wants an iPhone X experience, this is going to be a really, really good value considering it starts at $750 compared to $1,000. that $250 can go a long way. I think this thing is going to sell very well over the holidays, whether you're buying it for teens or someone who doesn't really care about the differences between it and the more expensive versions. This is really going to be the best iPhone option for the average consumer. And I'm not just making a play on my name, guys. I think regular everyday people are going to enjoy this phone and walk away with a really solid experience. It's really easy for us tech enthusiasts to walk around with pitchforks when we see some numbers are smaller than others, but honestly, when it comes down to the overall experience, it's solid. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. iPhone XR is a good buy. I'm not afraid to say it. But till the next video, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be the cool guy or girl that gives it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.